Hey, how we doing? Just Juicy here, Cricket Strength Inner Circle, bringing you our monthly exclusive interview. And today we have got Northants all-rounder Stephen Crook. Crookie, thanks for joining us.
No worries, mate. Cheers for having me.
No, it's great to have you on. Um, so just have a little sort of chat and tell everyone about how you started in cricket. Obviously, from your accent, they can tell you're one of the convicts. So talk about how you started over in Oz.
Um, yeah, obviously, growing up in Australia, it's kind of like I guess it's kind of like the national sport over there. So um, it's something that's in everyone's blood. Cricket is just in focus all the time. But I think, to be honest, the way that I actually got into it was my old man was he was actually a professional footballer, but he always fancied himself as a bit of a cricketer. So. Um, that's pretty much how I got into it. Just going to watch him on a Saturday afternoon, and just I think picked it up from there. Really, he was an all rounder, fast bowler. So I guess that's where I got it from. And as I got a bit older, I got the chance to play a few games in club cricket and at school and stuff like that. And yeah, just sort of I didn't really think anything of it at the time. It was just one of those things where I just enjoyed playing cricket and enjoyed, just trying to bowl fast and whack the ball as far as I could really. And I've been very lucky and very fortunate to be able to, still be doing it, which is very cool.
So how then, at a young age, do you end up at Lancashire?
Good question, mate. I came over bizarrely just to play a bit of league cricket. It as you do as an Aussie, you sort of come over and get a bit of experience in English conditions. And I went up and played a bit of league cricket in Huddersfield, and one of the guys who I played with in Adelaide, a guy called Mark Chilton. He's an ex-Lancs captain, and he, uh, he basically emailed and said, "Do you want to come and have a go at Lancs? Come down for a bit of a net session." And that was it, really. I went down there, and a week or two later, I'd been offered a contract, and that was it. I'd sort of signed my life away to live over here. So yeah, it all happened really quickly. It wasn't something that I'd planned or anything like that. It was um, came out of the blue. I got a bit of a didn't go down well in South Australia, to be perfectly honest. But when your lifelong ambition is to play cricket, and you get offered a contract, it's pretty hard to turn down.
So were you involved in like the South Australia stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, from a pretty early age, I think it was under 12s, I think it started, just part of the setup there, and went through all the age groups into the academy, played a bit of second 11, um, was part of the AIS over there, the under 19s, Australian under 19s, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so I was all part of that, which was fantastic. But yeah, it was. I mean, we're talking sort of 18, 19 years ago now, so it's a while ago, and the setup's probably changed a little bit. But at the time, the academy was sort of a group of probably 15, 20 guys who weren't necessarily up and coming players, or sort of established league players, or club players. So I was in amongst an academy with, um, you know, I was 17, 18, and I was training and playing with like 30-year-old guys who'd been, very experienced. So I was very lucky to be exposed to that. But yeah, it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it and learned a lot. And sort of, I guess, it's you make a decision at a time, and who knows what would happen if I stayed in South Australia. But I'm very fortunate to have been able to play over here for so long, and just loved every minute of it.
Now, obviously at that time and what one about sort of about 2002, three sort of time.
2002, yeah.
Now, going into that Lancs team, that Lancs dressing room, there was some very, very big names in there. What
Absolutely, there were.
what,
Yeah.
what was it like? Was it quite nerve-wracking, and how was it for you going in there? And also, did those senior players, so we're talking about um Fred, Jimmy was just young at the time, wasn't he? But
Yeah.
Cork and Chapel and people like that, did they help, or was it a sink or swim sort of scenario?
Um, I, I tell you, when I first went to Lancs, it was bizarre. I don't know whether it happened at other places, but there were two change rooms. There was a first 11 change room and a second 11 change room. So I was in the second 11 change room, obviously at the time, and we weren't allowed in the first 11 change rooms. But I was sharing that with like Jimmy Anderson and Saj Mahmood, Kyle Hogg. Um, Paul Horton, those sorts of guys who have obviously had pretty good careers, and it's you just got on with it because that was just part of what it was. You didn't really think too much of it.
Yeah.
Um, but it was yeah. I mean, you think about some of the names that you know that were there at the time, like sort of David Bias and Warren Hegg and those sorts of guys who had long sort of successful careers, and it was pretty intimidating to be honest, because I was a young Aussie bloke, pretty cocky, probably pretty naive to a lot of things. Um, you know, in it, it was a great experience. I went from playing in Adelaide. I mean, we had an unbelievable group of players in Adelaide as well. So like Greg Blewett, Jason Gillespie, Darren Lehman, Ryan Harris, these sorts of guys. So to go from that into a changing room at Lancs was brilliant, and such a different experience to what I'd ever had in South Australia. So those early days it was brilliant. Um, I I was like I say, I was pretty naive at times, but you got to learn pretty quickly and get on with it and get into the and adapt to the environment. I guess is the thing. You can go in and try and boss it or whatever you do, but actually it's about making sure that you fit into the environment, understand where you sit in the pecking order and how you're going to get into the team. I guess in terms of some of the senior players, I guess you know they do help and they do assist you. I mean, my first second level game was with Graham Lloyd and Neil Fairbrother and some of like those sorts of guys, and you learn a lot from those people because they've played for so long and they've played international cricket. Um, and yeah, I think you learn on the job really, and you tap into their knowledge. But in terms of someone like Glenn Chappell, he obviously saw me as a probably someone who could maybe take his place at some point. So that kind of relationship was pretty interesting. I learned a lot from him, but I guess it's we were competing for the same spot. So yeah, that was an interesting dynamic, I guess.
So what were the main difference? Let's talk about you as a bowler. Let's not talk
Yeah.
about your batting too much. But as a bowler, what were the big differences from bowling on the probably the quick wickets in South Australia to coming over here to league cricket and then to be playing sort of second team and first team at Lancs?
Um, yeah, very different conditions. It was that's one thing that's why Aussies and English players, go in between because you learn so much. The lengths are different. The way the ball reacts off the surface is very different. So um, you have to learn that quite quickly. I think I was always taught in South Australia because the ball carried well and it was good consistent bounce that um, you basically bowl full and it's you rely on your swing and you'll nick people off and to a certain degree that happened. I came over here and I bowled the same length and I was getting whacked out of the ground. So um, it's I guess you have to adapt to certain situations and certain conditions because what works on one wicket doesn't necessarily work on another wicket, and you have to identify that pretty quickly as a bowler. Um, Obviously, first class cricket is the same as well. You play it somewhere like at New Road, for example, and the ball doesn't get up, and Wantage Road, and the ball doesn't really get above knee height, and then you go to somewhere else, and it's sort of flying around your ear holes. So those lengths are different, and you have to adapt to that very, very quickly. And I mean the line doesn't change too much. I remember one thing that when you're young, you get told to bowl at the stumps. You get to bowl it off stump, bowl it off stump, hit the stumps. And as you grow and learn as a bowler, you sometimes get away from that. You try and bowl fourth or fifth stump or something like that. But I remember speaking to Alan Richardson actually, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and he said he went sort of full circle in his career, where he went from when he was young bowling at the stumps to not bowling at the stumps, and then he had an enormous amount of success towards the back end of his career because he just went back to just trying to hit the stumps. And I think that's something that I've learned over a period of time, that you can get away and complicate things too much, but actually it's pretty simple. You try and hit the off stump, top of the off stump. The more often you do that, no matter where you're playing, what conditions, then you're going to be successful more often than not, I think.
Definitely, yeah. Um, so that's sort of talking about your championship bowling. Let's come right up to date. Let's skip 15 years and different stories, or maybe one about you turning up to Northants when you're on loan with a bin bag full of clothes,
Yeah.
and then nearly taking my face off when I muted for you. But let's go straight to T20 nowadays, and we had a game Worcester v Northants
Yeah.
last night, which was ridiculous. We saw Martin Guptill hit a 35 or
Yeah.
36 400. So as a bowler, because I'm a bit, I don't know if I enjoy it at the moment. I don't know if I enjoy this T20 where everything's so heavily in favour of the batting team. What
Yeah.
can bowlers do? So you came on the eighth over last night. What was your plan to think, right, they've got nearly 120 on the board after 8 overs. We've got Martin Guptill smacking out of the park, Joe Clark hitting six at the other end. How, as a bowler, are you trying to work it? What are you thinking of?
Yeah, that's a that's a good question. We had a lot of conversations about that last night, actually. Um, I mean, in terms of when you're facing something like that, and in that situation, it's a little bit of an impossible situation. So, um, I guess it's just about having clear thoughts and remaining calm, as calm as you can in that sort of situation, because if someone is coming so hard and just whacking everything, then inevitably you're going to get hit for a boundary, and I think you have to accept that.
Yeah.
um, and you have to back your skills. So my plan last night to those guys, and Joe Clark as well, was playing a great innings as well. So um, I'd learned, and I'd had a bat earlier in the day on the wicket, so I sort of thought to myself that back of a length was quite difficult to hit.
Mm.
So I think I mixed it up a little bit. I think a change of pace in the T20 is very important, but also not allowing a batter to have a full delivery to just swing through the line. You want to try and make them hit off the top of the stumps, or sort of a heavy length, rather not necessarily short where it sits up and you can hit it, but trying to get the batter to hit off a tough length.
Mm.
And that doesn't always work. But I think you need to revert to plan B and C and D quite quickly as well. I don't think you just necessarily rely on that. So I think wide Yorkers are a great option.
Yeah.
Something that is coming into the game more and more now. We have a guy who plays for us at the moment, Sika Prasanna, and we talk a lot about Malinga. I know he's obviously one of the best bowlers, T20 bowlers ever. But his plan is very simple. He bowls Yorkers. he bowls slower balls, and he bowls bumpers. And it's as a lot of the time it's as simple as that, but it's just making sure that you execute those skills and be clear when is the right time, or a gut feel of when the right time to bowl those is. And that comes with experience because, I guess you're going to make mistakes and you're going to choose the wrong option at times. But as you play more cricket, you start to understand a little bit more about when someone might be looking to take that risk, or
Mm.
and then you you have an option to try and counteract that, I guess, in a way.
Mm.
But sorry.
And practice.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that yeah, absolutely, and that's one thing that, I mean, even us as professionals is, are we dedicating enough time to executing those skills and practicing those skills? It's a question that, we ask ourselves, and I guess most people ask themselves, have I done enough to prepare myself, and execute under pressure when, the ball's flying around the park? Are you able to execute those skills under that pressure, and rely on the fact that you've done the hard work to make it happen?
Yeah, sweet. So let's move on and talk about
Yes,
your
mate.
little uh, new sort of business that you've set up. It's really intriguing. It's called the
Yes, mate.
Green King IPA T20 Pro Am. From what I can
Yes.
see, it's like a T20 competition for league cricket, but involving some past players and current players in like almost a T20 finals day format. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I guess the premise behind it is, as a professional, you get to experience finals days. You get to experience being in a draft and an IPL auction and all those sorts of things. Um, I go on the IPL auction every year, and I know I'm never going to get picked up, but it's part of the experience, I guess. Waiting online, see if your name gets called up. And if you're lucky enough to get picked up in those tournaments, it's obviously an unbelievable experience. And what I guess what we wanted to do was create that, and we thought to ourselves, why should it only be limited to professionals and a few hundred players around the world, when there's I think there's 800,000 league cricketers in the UK. So, um, we wanted to create something similar to that, and the experience of treating a player as a professional, and through that period of registering for the draft, and then once you're drafted, being exposed to strength and conditioning, nutrition, psychologists, those sorts of things that we experience as professionals, and allowing somebody to have access to that for the period of the tournament, and then all culminating in finals day, where there's two semi-finals and a final, played on a county or international ground, under lights, with all the kit and all that sort of stuff. Um, you get to play alongside legends of the game and current professionals, and that's what we want to do, is create an experience for a player that is like nothing else.
Yeah. That's,
Um,
so have you did it in Northampton last year, and then this year you've expanded a little bit, have you?
that's right, yeah. So we started in Northants, as a bit of I guess a bit of a pilot season, really. And it went incredibly well. I think we had about 8 players get trials on the back of that with Northants, and which was unbelievable. Guys who had never been on the radar, really. They sort of got were trialing with us during the winter. Some of them have played second 11. Um, I mean, even one of them was very close to being signed as well, which is would have been sort of, I guess, the ultimate dream for us, really.
Yeah.
And now, over the course of this summer, we've expanded to 3. Northants, Derby is actually, tomorrow, which is on the 29th of July. The North tournament the Midlands tournament is in a couple of weeks' time, and we had the South tournament at the GS Bowl earlier in the month. So yeah, it's gone incredibly well. We've had a great response from players, from sponsors, from the clubs as well. It's been brilliant. So we're hoping that hopefully on the back of this year we're able to expand a little bit further next year and provide more opportunities for players. So
Great. So
yes,
where
it's really
can the guys
exciting.
find out a bit more about it?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can obviously follow us on social media. It's T20 Pro Am, and obviously through the website, which is t20proam.com. So there's a lot of information on there. There's videos to show kind of a little bit what it's about, and but yeah, I mean, like you know me, I'm really passionate about it, and about giving people the opportunity to not necessarily strive to be a professional cricketer. It's just about enjoying the game, enjoying the process, and just being part of it really.
Awesome, mate. That, yeah, I mean, so some people with the Northland seconds as well is that exposure because there might be a couple of players that have been missed out. So, mate, what you're doing is brilliant. And guys, all those in the UK, go check it out and get yourselves involved. If you missed the boat this year, and then keep your eyes peeled for next year, get involved because it sounds like an awesome thing. So, Crookie, thanks very much for joining us. It's
Cheers,
been a
mate.
nice
Thanks
stroll
a
down
lot.
memory lane, and we'll catch you soon.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. See you guys.